So I don't really know if anyone's watching. This is my first time going live. Have patience because I'm learning just as everybody else is learning. Oh, hi girl. Awesome. So that's awesome. That's my first person watching. I'm nervous. Sorry. So basically, I have a curly haired tarantula, super new into the hobby. The reason I wanted to start videoing everything is because there's not a lot of women in the hobby who make videos and post them onto YouTube or anything like that, as well as all of the people that I see on YouTube, they already have like over 100 tarantulas, and so nobody really ever recorded or basically started their channel from the very beginning. So that's what I'm gonna try to do. We'll see how that works. Um, Hopefully it goes well. If anything, I hope that I'll be able to educate you guys on tarantulas, maybe change some skeptic views on tarantulas, and hopefully we will be able to watch Fjord grow into a beautiful, big, curly-haired tarantula. I have never even fed a tarantula before, so I'm nervous just because I don't know how hungry he is. When I got him, they said that they fed them every day on Monday. Right now, he's kind of hiding. You can't really see him, but he's in his burrow, and I'm gonna try to lure him out with a cricket before I start putting him into the other enclosure. But before we do that, I am going to show you how I'm going to build his new juvenile enclosure. So he's about 2 years old. I don't know the exact age, and he's still small. So I was surprised when I went into the store and I saw him, and I just didn't expect them to be that little when they're 2 years old. Although keep in mind that does depend on the species that you get. Curly-haired tarantulas are more of a slow grower, so he won't be big really until about another year. In about 8 months, he'll be double the size. But also, if anybody has any questions about anything at all, please don't be afraid to ask. I hope I'll be able to see them. I can see people joining, so that's really cool. Like I said, I've never been live before, so bear with me. But hopefully, let me adjust this just so you can see what I'm doing on the ground. And I am doing all of this on the floor just because I don't want him to get scared and run away. And it's actually really dangerous for tarantulas to fall from tall heights just because they are very fragile. Their abdomens are very fragile. Let me do this actually. Okay, it's a little better. So this right here is the enclosure that I got. It was only like $5 at the pet store. Which this was like an exotic pet store, obviously. They had a bunch of different stuff. They had like a whole bird room, which was really cool. Here, let me get my face. And the people there were super knowledgeable, very friendly. I will 100% will be going back there when I decide to get my next tarantula. And also, I will say that tarantulas are very easy to keep. They're very low maintenance, and after doing a lot of research, they're not an expensive hobby to get into. And I say hobby because they aren't a pet that you can really play with all the time. They're not a pet that has the mental capacity to really remember that you're their owner, you're the person who gives them food. They just see food and eat it, and then they go back in their burrow. So that's why it's more of a hobby in collecting tarantulas instead of keeping them and things like that. And so I'm going to put his enclosure together first, just so that way if he does get a little nervous or if he starts to bolt, I'll be able to have everything ready so I can just put him in there and not worry about it. But to explain what I'm using to put into his new enclosure, I just have a regular bag of Creatures soil. It's just regular substrate. It's just dirt, really. Clean dirt that doesn't have any mites or worms or bugs in it. We don't want that kind of stuff, especially when he's so little, because his exoskeleton is very soft. So he doesn't have a lot of protection from those other animals. Or bugs. Okay. Thought I had scissors, but I guess I don't. Which is okay. So I'm just gonna take this and I'm gonna fill this container, and I'm gonna leave just a little bit on the top because, like I said, I don't want him to be able to climb, and which tarantulas can climb on the sides and everything. They have little sticky feet, so they're able to climb on any surface, and they don't need, I don't know what I was gonna say, but like I said, they can climb on any surface, and so that's why I'm gonna fill it pretty high because he's still very little, and I don't want him to fall and rupture his abdomen. I had my first heart attack with that this morning. I took him out this morning, and he's very curious, which is really nice. This species of tarantulas is very docile, so that's the main reason why I got a curly-haired tarantula, is because I wanted to be able to hold it. You're not really supposed to hold tarantulas. First reason is they are venomous. It's not life-threatening venom. It is more comparable to a bee sting than anything, so you're not going to die from it. It just hurts, and it's going to cause some aches and pains for a couple days. Neil told me not to do this on the carpet, but I'm going to do it on the carpet. Another reason why you're not supposed to hold tarantulas is because they don't really benefit anything from it. It kind of stresses them out. If anything, they just tolerate it. So that's another reason why you're not really supposed to hold them or anything like that. As well as you don't want to be holding them and for them to all of a sudden get startled and bolt. And especially since he's still just a spiderling or a sling, which sling is just short for spiderling, which is what they call their young. He's very easily startled. And so I actually got, when I decided that I was going to get a tarantula, I actually got this for my work. If you don't know, I work at PetSmart, so I'm lucky because anything I need for him I can just grab on my way home from work. This is way too big for him. He could be in here, but I would have to fill this thing up with so much dirt it's not even funny, and it's really just not appropriate or necessary. But when he gets bigger, this will be perfect for him. And I got this because it came with some fake plants, which is really nice. Some stimulation is good for them, just so that he can have something to root around in, and also just extra areas for him to hide behind, which is nice, makes him feel safe and good. And then it also came with another bag of dirt, and then it came, oh, here it is. And then it came with this nice little wooden hide that hopefully it's going to be able to fit in our new little enclosure. Looks like it might be too big, which that's fine because he actually came with a small piece of cork bark that is in his original container, and that's really all he needs. And I was able to cut off just a small piece of the fig plants, and I'll put that in there. Oh, I don't want to ruin his little burrow that he's in right now, but I gotta get him out. Oh my goodness, I'm so nervous. I'm sorry, buddy. So I'm gonna take this out. Oh wow, and it looks like there's a little molt in here, so that's really cool to see. Also, going back to the whole everything that you'll need to start off with the tarantula. Sorry, ADHD brain. You'll just need a small box like this. It's made out of acrylic, and then the place that I went to, it didn't come with holes, but they drilled in the holes that I needed. And especially spiderlings, they don't need a lot of air. So you also don't want to make the holes big enough or too big, so that way the spider can escape through them. So they just drilled in these small holes for me. That was really nice of them. And they did that free of charge, which was really cool. And so this is the piece of cork bark that it came with. Not super huge, perfect for him. I'm just going to kind of put that halfway in there, so that way if he wants to burrow underneath it, he has that option. And then I also got the curly-haired tarantula because they're super fun to watch. They are a terrestrial New World tarantula, which means that he comes from the North and South American regions, and terrestrial means that he's a burrowing tarantula. They really only burrow when they're juvenile and spiderlings, though. Once he becomes full growth, they mostly like to hang out on the top of the soil, and so I'm really excited for that. Oof. Okay, cool. So this is kind of what I got going on for him. Super simple. Just this little piece of cork bark, bunch of dirt. I'm going to put more dirt on top of the cork bark and on top of the sides of these plants, just so that I can make sure that the dirt's high enough so that if he falls, he's not going to hurt himself. There we go. Okay, cool. And like I said, if anybody has any specific questions or anything like that, please feel free to ask. Hopefully I'll see it. Some of this in here. And today he's actually being really shy. Even though I took that cork bark out, he's still hiding in the soil in his little burrow. But I'm really hoping that once I take these crickets out, which I got these small crickets today from work, I'm gonna try and give him to. Like I said, I've never fed a tarantula before, which also you will need these tongs, because tarantulas do have fangs and you do not want to be bit by them. Even though he's small, he's still got fangs. Some people say that when they're this size, they can't break skin. Others say they can. Like I said, I'm still learning. I'm very new to this entire hobby, and I'm really excited to be able to share this experience with you guys. And to reiterate the fact that tarantulas are pretty easy on the bank. I spent maybe $80 in total with all the supplies that I need. And to explain some more of how low maintenance they are, they don't need daily attention. Like I said, they mostly just want to be left alone. He eats 2 small crickets a week every 3 to 4 days, so, and they're like 10 cents each, so that right there is super, super, super affordable. And then I'm actually going to try and get this little molt out because that is really, really cool that that's in there. Also, it's good to take it out. It's really just a leg. But like I was saying, it's good to take the molts out because they told me at the store that the molts can attract flies and other types of bugs, which we don't want. Especially when he's this young, like I said, his exoskeleton's very soft, so he's very susceptible to other insects and things like that. Which is another reason, another good thing to point out is if you plan on getting a tarantula, and if they're not eating their food right away, don't leave the crickets or whatever you're feeding them in the enclosure for more than a day. Give them some time alone to come out and feed if they're hungry. But don't leave it in there for over a day, because if you do, that will attract more creatures, as well as these crickets will actually start to feed on the spiders and things like that. So we just want to make sure that they stay safe, as well as I was watching a video yesterday about how once he gets bigger and I can feed him super worms and stuff like that, don't leave the worms in there at all, because the worms will turn into beetles, and that's not good, because those are very dangerous, especially for a little spiderling like him. And I'm just going to try and see if I can find him. I kind of want to put him in his new enclosure and then feed him. Hey, little guy. And like I said, this species is very docile. I've handled him twice now, and he hasn't shown me any threat poses. And tarantulas can also do this thing where they call it kick hairs. So tarantulas have urticating hairs on their abdomen. And if I can get them out of here, hopefully I can get a close-up so you can see those. But what they'll do is they'll take their back leg and they'll rub it against their abdomen, and that kicks their abdomen hairs up into the air, and those hairs are not good to breathe in or get on your skin or anything like that, because they cause irritation. Sometimes they can cause blistering, and really they give you a nice rash for a few days. So he hasn't tried to do any of that, but we've also still just been getting to know each other. He's being really shy right now. Alright, I'm gonna try and bring a cricket out and see if that will get him out of his burrow, because he just keeps going deeper and deeper in there, and I don't want to stress him out too much. Okay, let's see if I can grab one without them going all over the spare bedroom. Over here. Let's see here. Okay. So if you can't tell, his little leggies are right there. Like I said, I'm being really gentle because I don't want him to kick hairs at me. Let's see if one of these bad boys will bring him out. I'm super excited. I hope he's hungry. He hasn't been fed since Monday, so he should be, unless if he's in pre-molt. But he doesn't look like he is. His abdomen is pretty small still. Okay. Alrighty. So if anybody's kind of squeamish, maybe look away. Here's the first cricket. Oh, wish me luck. I hope he smells it and comes out. You hungry, buddy? Oof. He's only got his butt out, so I'm just trying to rub it against him, see if he'll come out. This one's kind of big, I don't know. Oof. Okay, he might make me dig him out. I think he's just scared. Okay, let me see here. Okay, little guy. I'm so sorry, I know. Ugh, I hate doing this to ya. And just to show, I mean, this is insane that he hasn't done anything. Oh, there he goes. Alrighty, everyone, there he is. Awesome, so he's out now. I'm gonna try and get him in his enclosure first before I feed him. Just because I feel like he'll be a lot easier to see in the other one. And I forgot to grab a Q-tip. Alrighty, guy. Okay, don't bolt on me. Or kick hairs. Awesome. Boop, boop, boop. Okay. Oh, nope. You gotta go in there, baby. Okay. Just so everyone can get a good look at him. Here he is. He's gonna be a gorgeous, 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 gorgeous 6-inch tarantula in a couple years here. Now I know that sounds like a long time, but I'm really excited to watch him molt and go through all these phases. And usually people don't start off with spiderlings for their first stuff just because they want to be able to see those big tarantulas and everything. But I'm hopefully going to really love this hobby. And I hope you guys can see him well. Right now he's hanging out on his little green. Oof. So sorry about these angles, guys. Like I said, this is my first time going live. But okay, yep, I can see that you guys are seeing him. And it's really cool to just watch him crawl around. I mean, they're mesmerizing. But I really want to see if he's hungry. Ooh, I'm so nervous to give him one. I'm also nervous that he's not going to be hungry and then today's feeding day doesn't show much. But you still got to see how easy it is to make a terrarium for these guys. Very, very low maintenance. And then here's another look at him. Oof, that glare is horrible. And I hope that he doesn't try to come out. I don't like that he's on that corner right there, just because it's a little too close to the top for comfort for me. There we go. Okay, let's try this. I'm going to try and find the smallest cricket. And then let's see here. I really feel like this might be too big for him. He's not really interested in it. And he's trying to come out. No, you stay in. Look, you got food. If he's not hungry, that is a sign that he's in pre-molt, which is totally fine with me because I'd love, 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 love to be able to see, to get a molt, my first tarantula molt, which that's how they grow. Basically, they shed their outer skin just like a snake would. And he's not seeming too interested in the cricket. No, you gotta stay in there. Ah! See, they're very fast. That's why this makes me nervous. There you go, buddy. I really think that cricket might be too big for him. There's a really small one in here. Let me see if I can find it. Come here. Alrighties. Let's see here. This one's a bit smaller. My hand's shaking because I'm so nervous. And he's really not showing much interest in it, which kind of makes me sad, but his abdomen is dark on the top, which is a really good indicator that he is about ready for pre-molt. So I was nervous that he wasn't going to want to eat today. Look at that's food. Alrighty, let me try and get this stuff out of the way maybe. I'm going to try one more time, see if I can get him interested in it. Ooh. Yeah, he's really not showing much interest in it, and I don't want to make him too upset to where he kicks hairs. Here, buddy, are you hungry? And just to explain a little bit about why they're even more about how they're so easy to keep is in the wild, tarantulas will stay in their burrows for 90% of their life. They're opportunistic eaters, so that means that they eat at whatever opportunity they get. So really, they only ever leave their burrows if something walks by that looks good and tasty. Other than that, they kind of hang out in the dirt. Let me see if I just put that down in front of him. Oh, he's crawling over it. And he's walking right by it. Come on, buddy. I really want you to eat. I am gonna leave these crickets in here just because maybe he'll eat them later. Maybe he's just being shy right now, especially since like he just got put in this new enclosure. That's a lot. I am gonna check back up on him. But like I said, his abdomen is really dark. Let me see if I can take my phone here. And sorry if this isn't as interesting as everybody thought. Like I said, this is my first time doing this, so I'm always open to constructive criticism, and as well as hopefully they will. Hopefully, as I learn more, I'll be able to show you guys cooler stuff and everything like that, as well as it's not the most interesting thing right now just because I only have one, so there's not too much to show you. But let me go ahead and turn this camera around so I can kind of show you guys what I'm talking about when it comes to his abdomen, because he's in a really... So, if you see his head, that's the color that his body usually is, and obviously his abdomen is a lot darker than the rest of him, which is a very good indicator of him being in pre-molt, and they don't eat usually when they're about to molt. And of course now he's just standing right over the cricket. Maybe he'll realize that it's food and... Nope. And this is also a really, really awesome shot that you guys can see those urticating hairs that I was talking about. And when he gets bigger, he's basically just going to look like a big fuzzball, because his species, curly-haired tarantula, that's what they're known for. That's why they're named that way. And he's getting too close to the lid for my liking. Also, there's just one more thing that I'm gonna do here. No. No. You go back in. Good boy. Come on, get back in there. Here you go. You go in your home. I am going to, that's this little syringe here, I'm going to use purified water, just a regular water bottle, just because I don't want to use tap water because there's too many minerals in there. You're making me nervous. I don't like that. I really wish I had a little cotton ball. Oh my goodness. Come on, Fiora. No, you can't be held right now. And so this is just a lot of him showing that he's so docile. He hasn't shown me any threat poses. When they feel like they're threatened, they'll throw their two largest arms out in the front out, and they'll give you their fangs. It's definitely something to see. There's a lot of really cool videos on YouTube. Tarantula Cat is one of my favorites to watch just because she's another lady in this hobby, and I've learned a lot from her. Come on, buddy. You get back in there. In. Also, I'm really sorry that he didn't eat today, guys. I'm really hoping that he molts soon, so that way he has something to show for it. I am going to try again in a couple days. I'll probably try again on Monday. Come on. Slowly but surely. Beep, beep, beep. And just to reiterate as well, I won't be able to tell the actual gender of him until he is about twice this size. So in about a year I'll be able to tell the actual gender, but I'm just calling him a him for now because it's easier for me. Okay, so last thing I'm going to do is Tarantulas do drink water. They drink them right with their mouths. It's really cute to watch, actually. So I'm going to put this little bottle cap in there. This is actually a little bit too much. I wish I had some of the little seashells from the island left. That would be like perfect. But I'm going to put this in there, and I'm going to leave that in there. And I'm going to fill it with some water here in a second. And then what I'm also going to do is I'm going to, oof, hold on. So sorry, guys. Alrighty, so I'm just going to pour this water into here so that way I can use this syringe to suck it up. And when they're spiderlings like this, they actually really do like some moist area to live in. So I will be soaking a corner of his enclosure just so that way he has that nice moist, moist isn't the word I want to use. Humid, there we go. Sorry, had to think of it. They like humid temperatures, especially when they're this young. So a lot of people have said that it's really good to soak a corner of their enclosure, basically just overfilling their little water, and just doing one corner so that way they can kind of, ooh, he did not like that. You're driving me nuts, kid. Come on, buddy. And this right here is a huge, he's very curious. Which is really awesome because a lot of tarantula species will just stay in their hole and never leave, want nothing to do with you, will kick hairs at you if you try to do any sort of husbandry or care, which, oof, see? And that's what I mean. That's why I put so much dirt in there, because not with my help, but he just fell right back into his enclosure. And as you can see, he's totally fine. That's why I put so much dirt in there, because they are kind of clumsy. Still getting used to their legs and everything, but I'm going to continue kind of overfilling this side so that way the substrate gets nice and damp over here. And then that way on the other side, if he decides he wants to sit in drier land, he has that option. So that way, like, this half is going to be nice and wet, but if he wants to stay dry, he's got this half over here. And now I'm going to put the lid on because he's trying to come back out again. But this is where he's going to live for the next probably... Ooh! Did I get your little toesy? Hold on. Yeah. Awesome. I was really excited to put him in here. I am going to leave those crickets in there. I'm going to check back tomorrow morning. Hopefully he's eating them. Maybe he's just being shy right now. Sorry that this wasn't super crazy entertaining. Usually these guys have a huge appetite. So I'm really hoping that this just means that he's going to molt soon and get bigger. How fast he molts is going to be a really good indication of what gender he is. So males only live for 5 years. Females can live up to 25 years. Crazy to me. I don't get it, but it's really interesting that all the new information that I keep learning about these guys. And some may not think they're cute, but I think he is. He's super cute. And over here you can see all of that water starting to soak into the substrate. I'm gonna put more in after this soaks in. I don't want to put too much in and then have him get drowned out. So I'm gonna leave all this the way it is. This species is also pretty notorious for turning their water bowls over, and I've heard that they go through bottle caps. They actually will take them down into their burrows with them, and so I'm super excited to see what he does, all the burrows he makes, and I'm just excited to watch him grow and learn about this hobby, and hopefully I'll be able to get more people interested in it, because a lot of tarantula species are actually almost extinct. So the people that keep these guys are actually really helping with preserving these species and making sure that they don't end up extinct. So that's really all I've got for today. Again, I wish he would have ate so that we could have seen him strike, but that's okay. Really, really hoping that that just means he's growing. I'll post updated pictures of him tomorrow. Hopefully, he'll have a bunch of fun little burrows that he'll have dug by then. That's all I've got for today. If anybody has questions that they want to ask after the video, feel free to message me or just comment on the video link after this goes through. And hopefully I'll get a lot of people who are interested in seeing him grow, learning more about these guys, and I hope that I'll be able to give you guys great information as well as something at least a little bit interesting while I learn just from becoming and having one spiderling to having 20, which is my goal. I really hope to eventually be able to breed these guys. I've watched tons and tons and tons of videos, hours of information and everything, and it's just really interesting to see how these guys grow and eat and everything. And I know that's redundant. It's just, it's new and cool to me, so I'm super excited. I can't wait to share it with you guys. Thank you for watching my super awkward first live video. I might go live on Monday just to see if he'll eat. I'll probably wait until next Friday though, just because I don't want to stress him out too much. Like I said, I really just kind of want to leave him alone for a couple weeks now and let him get used to his new home. But that's everything that I have, and I hope you guys have a good rest of your day.